They can try, but can't do it like Vinny. Yeah, no permission. I got it.
That means I can't describe the way I vibe, the way I slide, and with the rhymes that make the dimes all close their eyes and fantasize. Young Divine calling their phone number. No, you know I love it. And you know me, I can't sleep without blazing beats on stages for their ones gracefully. And I got a smile that they hate to see. Young black successful, though life gets stressful. Though life gets stressful, go and vibe out with whoever you next to.
Vibe until the morning, sleep until the noon. You said that you want it, so I got it for you. Let's all get together and show them how we move. We move, we move, bringing summer to you.
Oh, ready, let's go, 'cause you know how we roll. Let's take it round the world and back again. Ready, let's go, 'cause you know like I know. We'll take it round and round again.
Said I'd find a way to turn my heart into something gold. Knew I sold my soul to the devil long ago. I rode it all along on your wave right before it broke. Time was thrown down the well, so I let you go. What I do right now. What I do right now for you, for you. If you know you want to be good.
And I did it again. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to ESL Season 10 of the Southeast Europe Championship. It's our anniversary and we've reached the big, grand final. I'm traveling and I'm here with Nick Holden to bring you the best of 5 of dreams between Random5 and ASUS ROG Elite.
Hey there, Trouble, and it's great to be here for the finals. I can't wait to get this one started. Of course, we've had a lot of build-up leading our way to this point in a double elimination bracket, essentially 8 teams from all around Southeastern Europe coming into this championship, competing for the prize pool to manage to get their way into these final matches here today in this best of 5. It will be Random5 taking on ASUS ROG Elite. Now, as we set the tone for this game, Trouble, it's absolutely huge because guess what? This isn't the first time they faced off. Previously in the tournament, they actually went head-to-head, where it was ASUS that managed to pick up that crucial 2-0 victory. Can you take us through what might have transpired on that side, Trouble?
Yeah, of course, and we had a Random5. Both of these teams came in very decisive. They hadn't lost up to the point where they met each other, and unfortunately, one of the two would have to drop to that lower bracket. And Random5 came in very decisive. They have Hop, who's very aggressive, together with Lubens in the top lane. I felt like that's where they kind of lost themselves. They tried to put themselves into this chokehold of trying to pressure Bruno behind, and he was absorbing pressure like a sponge. So it didn't matter whether he was on Rumble, on whatever else, all the pressure was put up in the top lane. There's a few points of criticizing on Random5, for example, in the first game where they played Hop played Elise, a lot of crucial cocoons missed. It's something that that's what you're playing for on the Elise. That cocoon heat, then you can have the follow-up, especially since you have like a Lucia Leona bot lane. This is where you need to be playing from, and they were trying so hard to pressure Bruno behind, which it's a late game champion. It will scale eventually, but your focus should be on which lane to snowball. And of course yourself, when you're playing on an Elise, you have to be already there by mid game. You have to have the kills. You have to potentially chuck in an Infernal, a Mountain Drake, something. Now, that's why I'm saying a little bit about the questionable plays from Random5, because it feels like it's fallen apart in the seams towards that mid-game. Questionable decision-making. They did get the Baron. They didn't manage to close it out. They had the gold lead, but then again, they got out-rotated by ASUS. Bruno Shaw, he was choked in the early phase, but then again, his equalizers were on point. He was managing to kind of put the entirety of Random5 in such a choke point where from the other side, the Kai'Sa, Nautilus, and Pantheon were able to shine through. And it felt like Stefan was kind of being left in the background and not being seen too much. But I would kind of compare Stefan to Meteors. He's gonna stay in his jungle. He's going to farm. He's going to spot Hop, so he knows where he is, and they're gonna sacrifice Bruno for the greater good of the entire team. So Stefan will play this calculated, unseen aggression that we've talked before, where he's gonna show up only where it matters. So I think this is pretty much what happened. Out macroing Random5. Random5's have very questionable decisions. Ezreal TPs into the fight. I'd like to see them play something more cohesive possibly now.
All right, now that transitions quite nicely to the next talking point. Obviously, both of these teams are essentially, they can stand up right now and say that they're the best 2 teams of this division, making it all the way through. I think from Random5's side of things, they've done absolutely fantastically to make it this far. They met against one another in the winners final, and now Nexus Gaming, they did get quite severely challenged from that team. However, now stepping up to one another in this matchup, let's maybe go through a couple of the win conditions here for each one of these teams. And perhaps, if you don't mind, we can start things off with Random5.
All right, let's go for Random5. Let's see their strong points. I would say that jungle they have, Hop, is a very aggressive jungler. He likes to play for the kills. He likes to play for the early game. He even likes to challenge the enemy jungler. But because Stefan was so slippery and good in staying unseen in the early game, Hop was able to get these early kills, and not on the jungler but towards Bruno that we said before. Now I do like that, especially when you have a Renekton versus Rumble matchup that we saw in the previous best of 3 in the first game, where Bruno was on that Rumble and Lubens was on the Renekton. And of course, by default, you're not going to be able to pressure the Rumble because he has the wave clear on you. And the second you get too close, you're going to get punished by the flamethrower while you're CSing. So I do enjoy the fact that we did see Hop's Elise go towards that Renekton in the top side, making him a beast, locking in that Spear of Shojin super early into the game. But what I did not like is that how they didn't transition that Crocodile into the mid game. You've got the Renekton, you've got the AoE, you've got the Spear of Shojin. Grab him out of the top lane and literally throw him in every lane and every neutral objective you're gonna be fighting for, which is something we didn't see. On the other hand, they did pick that Ezreal for LMZ in the mid lane. Clever, because you're playing against Pantheon, melee champion. You're going to be able to have him as a piñata, literally batter him with your Qs and your auto attacks and try to get these pots, try to get more gold, try to get more experience through that. But the problem right there is that they weren't working cohesively with their team comp. Your Ezreal has to be there from the start. You need to be able to poke down. Leona needs to be together with Elise, fixated onto one target, and then you unleash the beast that you've created in the top lane in the likes of Renekton. There were too many split fights. Renekton was not there, and then when he was, the fight had already been dispersed, or a lot of members from Random5 had gone down. And when the Baron happened, we were like, that's it. Random5 will end the game. They took the advantage, but then again, they didn't know how to translate that. So I would like to say Hop is your win condition here. Very aggressive, give the kills towards Lubens in the top lane, completely choke out Bruno and never let him come back into the game. Take that Rumble completely out of the fight, because I felt like that the Rumble will come back late game and will bite you in the bottom. So get it completely out. It's a comfort pick from Bruno. Put him on something else. Force your advantages with Lubens and then take him throughout the map. So very clear macro in the mid game. I think what's going to give Random5 the advantage that we've seen them have throughout the entire tournament up to the point that they faced ASUS.
All right, so now one of the big things that we need to keep in mind are the picks and the bans, because that's going to be coming up next. But one of the things that we need to focus on here is that a couple of standout picks have been predominant throughout this series. Xayah, as far as an ADC is concerned, and then when it comes down to the priority of the mid lane combining, we've seen Gragas and Yasuo come up absolutely massive in the past. So now, when it comes down to what the other team from the other side of it, I know you've given us a fantastic breakdown of what we could expect from Random5. Shall we maybe go into ASUS? I mean, they're coming in here, essentially the top dogs. You need to be able to take them down. And what are their win conditions going into this game? Yeah. Well, a huge 4 games. I mean, that's going to keep us seated and entertained. So right now, ladies and gentlemen, you have definitely stopped into the right place because we've got the huge championship about to kick off. And remember, when it comes down to these two teams, they've already guaranteed themselves some kind of share of the prize pool. If they end up in second place, they'll be walking home with €1,000 in the back pocket. And that's definitely something that I think they can all look forward to. Whereas the winners can double that amount. They get themselves €2,000, and that's a lot of riot points to get yourself some skins in addition to just being able to celebrate with your teammates at the end of this one. Should be a good game, but now when it comes down to what we wanted to be able to chat about, it does really reach that point where we got to start talking about the picks and bans. And this is something I touched on a little bit earlier with you, Georgia, is that there's been a couple of picks that have been predominant throughout the series that almost have guaranteed some kind of conversion. Zaya has been one of those ADCs that I want to keep an eye on here because as soon as she gets banned out, I feel like these games become a lot tighter.
Yeah, and there's just so many champions that ASUS can pull out of the sleeve. You saw Stefan pulling out the Talia. That was a last year thing. He brought it back in. It's back in the meta right now. He was astonishing on it. You saw that Zed slips through the cracks. Diablo's gonna blind pick it. He doesn't care what he's gonna play against. And these are picks that I feel like they scare Random5 a little bit and they pressure them to play a little bit more aggressive, defensive. That's why you saw LMZ was like, oh, shoot. That's a Zed. I'm going to pick Orianna. I'm going to stay alive. But it didn't really matter because just the pressure generated by Diablo playing his role right there. So he's going to fall behind earlier into the game. But then they took this aggression of having that assassin towards the top lane. So they tunneled towards the person that could potentially snowball against them, which was Lupins in the top lane. So you generate that aggression and you take it in the face of Random5 where you think they're the strongest, which I believe is the top side of the map for Random5. And for ASUS, I feel like sure they've got potential in every single lane, but I would give the strength towards the bottom side of the map where Nicola and Tasteless have actually been flawless so far. And there's just so many things that you need to keep in mind. You can't leave open the Aurelion Soul. I would take away Bruno from Bruno the Rumble. Definitely wouldn't give Stefan Lee Sin or Talia. And you don't want to leave picks open like the Pantheon, the Kiana, the Yumi for Tasteless. There's just so many things that these guys are good at. And there's not just one pick that you're going to say, okay, we're going to ban the Yumi out. So we're going to kind of alleviate the pressure of having this composition against us. Because ASUS are going to find a different way of giving you the same comp but with a different bot lane. So there's just so many ways that ASUS is drafting towards that is so hard to read, but I believe in that sense of surprise that Random5 has in their drafts and their game style, because it might seem a little bit chaotic macro-wise in the mid-game, but sometimes it can catch teams off guard and it can give that factor of surprise and win them the mid-game, which will eventually give them the win later.
Yeah, I think it's one of those big things now, taking a look at what happened in the past, right? I mean, from Random5's gaming side, their first bans in their series up against ASUS last time was Aurelion, Yumi, Syndra, Zed, and Aatrox, and I can understand every single one of those bans, right? I mean, Zed, when it goes into Diablo's hands, he's an absolute machine. However, on the other side, ASUS actually banned out Yasuo, Zaya, Kayle, Thresh, as well as Vladimir. And maybe that's going to be something to set the tone here today. So we're going to have to wait and see what transpires as soon as we get to that pick and ban phase. But, Georgia, going into this game, I think a lot of us all don't know where we're going to be able to put our money. I think those that are wisest between most of us will be going for ASUS. They've proven themselves 2-0 to be able to come out on top. However, from the side of Random5, I think they're one of the teams that looks so dangerous. As soon as they all click and all that momentum is working as a team unit and they're getting those macro communications across, I swear they're one of those teams that you just cannot take down. However, from ASUS' side of things, they've just been superior in terms of how they manage to macro throughout the game, whether they're behind in their lane or in front. It doesn't really matter to them. They make sure that they play around their objectives, and as soon as they get that little bit of an inkling of advantage in the mid game, they completely collapse on their opposition.
Yeah, and I think Random5 are definitely the dark horses. They came in as the defending champions of Season 9. but I don't see them as strong as Season 9. ASUS have come a little bit more decisive and a little bit more driven, a little bit more studied. So even though Hop, you know, might get the 3 buff start, it just feels like it's getting caught in the seams, and all this advantage kind of gets deleted because Stefan is not the kind of jungler that will take it egoistically and say, oh man, my jungle is destroyed, what am I gonna do now? I'm gonna try to invade, I'm gonna try to pressure my lanes to get priority. That's not how he works. He's like, fine, I lost all one of my buffs, I'll take whatever is left in my jungle, I'll try to put down vision to at least keep my laner safe, since the Elise is ahead both in CS and experience, and then I'll try to farm to catch up, and when the time is correct, I'm gonna be there when my team needs it. Because at the start of game 1, we're like, Stefan is nowhere to be found. You know, Hop already has 1 successful gank onto the Elise, up top lane, trying to snowball Lubens on the Renekton, and we're like, where is Stefan? What is he doing about this? He's kind of like the unseen threat, especially on picks like Lee Sin and Talia, where out of nowhere you're like, there he is. And it just makes a huge difference. Especially that play up in the Baron. I just wish we had replays right now to visualize it for you guys. When Random5 started the Baron in the first game and Stefan was on the Lee Sin, then Lubens jumps out of the pit to stun him, preventing him from going into the pit and taking a 50-50 smite with Hop. Then what Stefan does is kicking him back in, following his cue onto the Renekton and trying to go for the 50-50 smite. This is the caliber of players we're talking about here. They're gonna find, if you give them 1 inch, they're gonna take the entire mile, basically. And this is why teams like Random5, I think they need to study a little bit more. I think ASUS ROG Elite came a little bit more studied in the previous best of 3, but now this is the winner on a line, and Random5 are defending their crown here. Now, ASUS might have chipped a little bit away and put it on their head because of the previous best of 3, but I do think that Random5 are back for a slap. So we're gonna go into a very, very quick break. Don't go anywhere. This best of 5 will be happening, and we're so hyped. I hope, guys, we filled you in, and we'll see you in just a bit. Stay tuned.
I want to fade away, be with the stars in outer space. You come and you go, you take me high, you take me low, but I don't know how to do this on my own anymore. Oh no, now it's my leave for the melancholy. Could he fill a hole inside me? Damned if I do, damned if I don't. Now it's Xannies till I know my psyche. Cocaine just to feel my heartbeat. Nothing to lose, nothing to gain. Sarah. Sarah, why you leaving me? Sarah, I lost myself today trying to find ways to make you stay. Sarah, I want to go away, close my eyes, never wake up again. You come and you go, you take me high, you take me low, but I don't know how to do this on my own anymore. Oh no, now it's my leave for the melancholy. Could he fill a hole inside me? Damned if I do, damned if I don't. Now it's Xannies till I know my psyche. Cocaine just to feel my heartbeat. Nothing to lose, nothing to gain. Sarah. Sarah, why you leaving me? far from close. It's so hard to find my destiny. Try not to drift apart, 'cause you'll be right back at the start. And I don't wanna keep on falling. I gotta stay recalling memories we've lost and found. Explain to me what it's all about.
and restless, yeah, we quite wild. If I want it, I'ma get it talking right now. And I ain't got no regrets, it's my time now. Lights out when you see us talking moves. You don't know that's the topic. And if you talking juice, well then you know I got it. Then you know I got it. Nobody got it like me. You know. They can try, but can't do it like Vinny. Yeah, no permission. I got it.
Never let you double cross them. Moving through the city like it's Gotham. They told me get one, so I got one. Stop saying you're a boss when you not one. You ain't sacrificed, nah, you ain't lost none. All over the gram like you got a bag. You ain't big dog, we ain't hear none of that. I'm in the gym looking like a running back. And you know the flow, got him coming back. Who I was in the past, I'm unattached. Only focus in this moment is bringing the summer back. Oh, respect my grind, elevate souls and I spread good vibes. Young divine, you know I gotta shine. Raise your hands for a good time. Aight.
Vibe until the morning, sleep until the noon. You said that you want it, so I got it for you. Let's all get together and show them how we move. We move, we move.
3, 2,
Bringing
1,
summer to
drop.
you.
Oh, ready, let's go. 'Cause you know how we roll. Let's take it round the world and back again. Ready, let's go. 'Cause you know like I know. We'll take it round and round. Yo, hold up, let me switch my flow up. Back in high school, they were telling me I'll blow up. Doing talent shows and man, everyone would show up. Got in an accident and still made it for them to go nuts. You know what? I'm so so what? I'm so That means I can't describe the way I vibe, the way I slide. And with the rhymes that make the dimes, I'll close their eyes and fantasize. Young divine calling their phone number. No, you know I love it. And you know me, I can't sleep without blazing beats. On stages for their ones gracefully. And I got a smile that they hate to see. Young black successful, though life gets stressful. Though life gets stressful, go and vibe out with whoever you next to.
Vibe until the morning, sleep until the noon. You said that you want it, so I got it for you. Let's all get together and show them how we move. We move, we move.
3, 2,
Bringing summer
1,
to
drop.
you.
Oh, ready, let's go. 'Cause you know how we roll. Let's take it round the world and back again. Ready, let's go. 'Cause you know like I know. We'll take it round and round again.
let something go. Knew I sold my soul to the devil long ago. I wrote it all along on your wave right before it broke. Time was thrown down the well, so I let you go. What I do right now. What I do right now for you, for you. been working part-time jobs, chasing all my dreams now lately. No matter if I try too hard, nothing's ever enough, baby. No, I don't care too much. I don't care too much. As long as I can keep you by my side, I don't care too much. We got time, no rush. In your eyes, I always see there is something meant for me. In your eyes, I always feel different.
thoughts left in my head. My mind's not mine and it won't forget. But you bring me back from my darkness black. Cause the soul in me and the heart I have for you. It bleeds for you, it bleeds again. Oh, you bring me to life. 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 Bring me to life. Oh, you bring me to life. Now you bring me back to life. Bring me to life. Stop to my side, tied to run on a faulty line. I'm safe only, even though we burn from the light I bleed. But she bring me back, not a heart attack could take away all the love I had for you. It bleeds for you, it bleeds again. Oh, you bring me to life. 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 Oh, you bring me to you bring me to life.
Sitting on a bench, waiting for the time to pass, dreaming of what happens next. I see what I wanna be, questioning my destiny, only knowing what I see. I don't even realize I've already made a path, and I can change it anytime, but can't take it back. I know what I want, but it seems so damn far away. I know I sound crazy to the ones who said oh. I know I empower those who dream like me. I know I sound crazy to the ones who said oh. I know I empower those who dream like me. And you say you wanna be somebody. You got a voice, then you better use it. Tell yourself day after day it's time to prove it. No days off, keep the hustle moving. Wanna see you be what you wanted to be, prove it. I know I sound crazy to the ones who said oh. I know I empower those who dream like me. I know I sound crazy to the ones who said oh. I know I empower those who
take it. Yeah, reminded myself to just let go. Don't wonder how far I can fall. Don't look down, never fade out. And I just wanna be someone and never fall behind again. Just keep on moving on. Never look down, never fade out. Never fade out. Oh, 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 shooting through the clouds. I know it's alright. It's alright. Heavens are the limit now. Let's fly just one more night. One more night. Don't look down, never fade out. And I just wanna be someone and never fall behind again. Just keep on moving on. Never look down, never fade out. Never fade out. Oh, oh, Sarah, I hurt myself today trying to make the pain go away. Sarah, I want to fade away, be with the stars in outer space. You come and you go. You take me high, you take me low. But I don't know how to do this on my own anymore. Oh no, now it's my leave for the melancholy. Couldn't fill a hole inside me. Damned if I do, damned if I don't. Now it's Xannies till I numb my psyche. Cocaine just to feel my heartbeat. Nothing to lose, nothing to gain. Sarah, I lost myself today trying to find ways to make you stay. Sarah, want to go away, close my eyes, never wake up again. You come and you go, you take me high, you take me low, but I don't know how to do this on my own anymore. Oh no, now it's Molly for the melancholy. Cody, fill a hole inside me. Damned if I do, damned if I don't. Now it's Xannies till I know my psyche. Cocaine just to feel my heartbeat. Nothing to lose, nothing to gain. Sarah.
We're so far, but so far from close. It's so hard to find my destiny. Try not to drift apart, 'cause you'll be right back at the start. And I don't wanna keep on falling. I gotta stay recalling memories we've lost and found. Explain to me what it's all about.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We are coming at you with, you can call it however you want. You can call it bad news, you can call it good news. Now, we did counter a problem with Random5. Their jungler, unfortunately, could not play the game today. So they did end up forfeiting the entire situation. That's why you see the 2-0. ASUS are your new Season 10 champions for ESL Southeast Europe Championship. Thank you guys so much for being with us on this wild ride. And thank you for being here and being patient and cheering for the team and cheering for us and giving us something to do and something to give up, to give back to you. So any last words for tonight, Nick?
Yeah, I kind of just feel bad for Random5 on their side of things, unfortunately falling into the void. But from my side, it has been an absolutely amazing season, number 10, Season X. And so far, I really have enjoyed myself. I mean, things have been absolutely crazy at times. I mean, a lot of 2-1s for the entire season. And I just want to say a big
cut you
shout.
off short.
Oh,
Might
we
have to
cut
cut
it
you
off
off
anyway.
short.
Thank you. I just want to say thank you to everybody involved.
Thank you guys for being with us. Thank you for being on this wild ride. Again, congratulations to ASUS ROG Elite. Sad times for Random5. We'll hopefully see you guys again. Our social media. Nick, you want to plug in your social media real quickly?
Yeah, if you guys want to follow me, hit me up on @HoldenZA. I know I'm South African, but I do like to talk quite a bit on social media.
All right. And I'll be on G_Troublelink on Twitter and G_Troublelink here on Twitch if you want to catch any of my streams. Thank you again for being here, and we'll see you guys hopefully very soon. Bye-bye from ESL, us, and the entire broadcast crew. Thank you, Nick, for casting this with me, and we'll see you guys very soon. Bye-bye.